Let's talk about selections for a minute. Selections are a very big part of working in Photoshop. Selections are sometimes referred to as alpha channels or channels. And every layer has a selection or an alpha channel. Three of my layers, their alpha channel is rectangular shaped, and that selection or channel determines what is transparent or what area of the layer has pixels and what area of the layer is transparent or has no pixels. And four of my layers are rectangular, so their selection or alpha channel is a rectangular shape, and that's because they were JPEG images, and when I brought them in, that's how JPEGs come. They have no transparency around them. They fill the frame with pixels. Now, the T-Rex, however, has a T-Rex shaped alpha channel, as you'll see. I'm going to zoom into my document by holding down the control key and pressing the plus button. And then I'm going to pan in my document by holding down the space key and moving my mouse so I can see closer. So here's our T-Rex. And I'm going to right click. Oops, I misspelled T-Rex. T-Rex. Okay. I'm going to right click, have him make sure he's selected. And you can see that there are no pixels outside of the shape of the T-Rex. Okay, that's because it was a different file type that has a transparent background when I brought it in. Now, I'm going to hit Control and 0 to zoom all the way back out. And actually, I'm going to zoom out a little more by hitting Control and the minus key. To zoom in and out, you hit Control minus and then Control plus. Use that all the time. Okay. So, as I said, we're talking about selections. Let's move T-Rex back to the bottom. And one thing you can also do, I'm going to make sure the arms, you can hide layers by turning off this little eyeball, clicking them on and off. And you will do this all the time when you're working. I'm going to work with, move my city street all the way to the back. I'm going to work with the arms image. Make sure that's turned back on. I'm going to hide everything else except the background. I'm going to create a new selection, a new shape for the outline of this layer. And I'm going to start with this tool here. And it's called the Polygonal Lasso tool. Okay, Polygonal Lasso tool. I'm going to click it. Okay, I'm going to quickly erase the parts of the image I don't want by creating a shape. Click, 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 click. Just drawing a line with the Polygonal Lasso tool. Click, click. Okay. And I'm going to close it by going back to where I started. Okay. This is the marquee, or we sometimes call them dancing ants. This lets you know that your selection is active. Okay. You've created a new selection that you're working with. Now I'm going to add to this selection. I'm going to hold down the Shift key to add to this selection while still using the Polygonal Lasso tool. I'm going to hold down Shift and press Shift and hold it. I'm going to click over here. Click, 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 click. Back to where I started. I have now created a new active selection around this guy's arms. Now I want to get rid of everything else. Now, maybe I want to change maybe what I'm going to do. Maybe I want to save parts of this image, or maybe I want to adjust it later. So I'm not going to just delete them. But I'll show you how to do that. If I wanted to just delete everything, I would go Select, and I would invert my selection. I would go to Select, Inverse. And now you can see these dancing ants along the outside of this layer, or my document. that means everything else is selected. You can also do this by hitting Control-I. I'll do it again. Oops. That's not, I'm sorry, that's the filter for inverse. Let's just go back to select. It's Shift-Control-I. Shift-Control-I. Now I've inverted my selection again back to what it was. Shift-Control-I. Okay. So I've got everything but his arms selected now. Another way to see what you have selected is using the quick mask by pressing Q. And that just shows you what you have selected. And when I say selected, that means any changes you make will only be applied to what's in red. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. What's red will not be affected. So if I Shift-Control-I again and hit Q, that means everything in red will not be affected. The area that is not red is what I have selected. Okay, I'm going to exit, hit Q again to exit. Shift-Control-I, inverse, and then hit backspace to delete everything. His arms. And to deselect, get out of this active selection, just hit Control-D for deselect. Okay, but I don't want to delete everything, so I'm going to undo this. And to undo in Photoshop is different than most things. You have to use your history palette, your history stack. Go over here to this symbol here. It's the 3 boxes with the little arrow. Click it. These are all the things I've done since I've opened the Photoshop document. Okay, so I'm going to, just to undo, I'm going to click one back. I'm going to click another one back until then we get back to this step. Okay, so this shows me I have everything but the arms selected. I'm going to invert my selection back to just the arms. I'm going to do something different this time. I'm going to go to Layer, Layer Mask, Reveal Selection. Okay, it looks like I deleted everything, but it's actually still there. That's called a layer mask, and we're going to talk about those more in the next video.